Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite Battle Royale video. This is going to be another tips and tricks video and this is a pretty nice gameplay here. This is a 14 kill solo win that I got earlier while playing on my live stream. Link down below to my Facebook live stream. This is pretty good. You know, 14 kills isn't the most kills. You know, it's not a 20 bomb or like a 17 or 18 bomb, but it's a good amount and I'd say it's probably a pretty high kill win for a solo. So I'm going to talk about how I did it and basically analyze each gunfight here in this video. Because a lot of people enjoy these tip videos and a lot of people, so I see some people say, oh, his tips are the same or something, but just because, you know, the video may look similar does not mean it's going to be the same. And, you know, what if you just said, oh, you know, Fortnite, you just survive and just be the last one standing and you win. Every game's the same. That's not how it works, and that's why I like to analyze these unique gameplays, and I think that there's always stuff that you can pick up on from these gameplays, and even myself, I'll admit when I make flaws in the gameplay, and also when I make a very good play, and that's what we're going to talk about. So drop a like on this thing, I would appreciate that. Let's go for 2,000 likes. That would be absolutely incredible if you could hit that. Smack that like button, I would appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and these are some Season 7 tips we're breaking down. So this is some new, up-to-date stuff, and of course, using that Link skin, which I just unlocked this version of it, which looks amazing. So yeah, smack that like, subscribe if you guys are new, and let's talk about it. So the first thing is, if you want more kills, if you want to play aggressive, there's pretty much a couple spots where you want to go, but there's one spot that's going to work better than ever, and that is Tilted Towers. The thing with Tilted is every single game is going to be similar. You know, people are going to meet in the mid game and the late game. But if you go tilted, you should have good mats with all those wood pallets in that mid area, a good amount of kills, and a good amount of shields. Now you can see there, I already have 3 kills. I know the chest locations. That's why I'm looting up certain spots. Down here, I was looking for this guy's shotgun, and I was hesitant to fight people early on because I didn't have a shotgun yet. But once I found this blue pump, which hits to the body for up to 100 damage, 200 to the head, I was ready to go, and I was feeling very confident. So right here is a good way to make your rotation to it. When you're landing tilted, you're basically taking an aggressive approach. You're gonna get into fights early game. It's not often you land tilted and then you just get out of there. So I have 3 kills. I realize I have 175 health, which is plenty to fight, and I'm able to this building is kind of tricky because I'm not gonna lie, this building is kind of new and I'm not the most familiar with it, and you can see how I sort of struggle with it in this game. And that was the first guy I killed, but there's also more people and I was sort of tracking stuff. Right there you can see I get shot from the top of Trump Tower, and that's just random stuff that's going to happen to you in the game. You know, randomly I'm jumping around looking for people and I get shot at, and that's unfortunate. I have to use my minis, but then on the same end I get lucky and find a 50 pot here. So there's an amount of luck that goes into games as well, and it's RNG. Some people are going to find a chug jug or 3 50 pots off the start, others are going to find 3 gray pistols, you know, so there is an amount of randomness to it, but I think we can learn a lot from this gameplay from watching what I do in each gunfight. And you can see here 4 kills off the start. This wasn't the most explosive start ever either. You know, 50 people left, 4 kills. I mean, it's a decent start at tilted. Usually you want to get out of tilted with like, you know, 5 to 10 kills. That sets you up for a pretty nice game. And if you're looking to be more aggressive and go for higher kills, tilted is the place to be because it's sort of just loot, fight, get that person's loot, loot, fight, get that person's loot, and that's sort of the cycle of how it goes. You can see here, I take this guy out once again with 2 clean shotgun shots. Now, I wasn't, you know, I could have played that better. He did have a split second get a shot in on me. Luckily, he didn't, and we're still in a pretty good spot right here. I realize I have, you know, 300 materials, and right there you can see, I see the glow of a chest in that truck, so of course I'm going to go and grab that later, but first I'm going to grab this 50 pot. So it's different stuff like that, knowing chest spots, knowing, hey, I didn't loot here, I didn't check inside here yet, and knowing that there's, you know, chest location in that chest where of course I head next, and then I make my rotation over towards Loot Lake, still having 5 kills. But on my way to my rotation, I actually run into another guy in here, and this is a building that's confusing, but I'm using audio and I'm playing it off of audio, so I crack him right there in the head for a big damage right there, and I'm like, okay, I have obviously 200 health, there's no way he has 200 as I just cracked him for however much that did. So I'm trying to put the pressure on this guy, but I kind of take too long, and I should have dropped down sooner. I take too long to fight this guy, and I expected, for some reason I just thought this guy would be a better player than he was, but eventually I'm going completely off of sound cues here, and that's why when you're the player on the other end of this, he should probably be not switching weapons, crouching down, being careful, but unfortunately I do hear him make some noise. I eventually am able to get the push up on him, wrap it around, and I take another gunfight, much like that fight from before where I'm on the low ground, but I have a nice angle at them still, and I do take damage, so I could have played that better. But, you know, you just have to move on, and you can learn from everything. And like I said, the number one way to get better at this game is analyzing your own mistakes. Your mistake isn't just dying. I could have played that better. Ultimately, it doesn't matter, because, you know, I still end up winning the game and get a lot of kills. But I'm leaving Tilted with 6 kills with 20 left. So it's definitely not the most amount of kills, but this is, I guess you could say, the mid-game where I'm able to pick off quite a good amount of kills right here. And a way to get more kills in this game is if you have a lot of ammo, start messing with planes. These planes do not have that much ammo, and especially after the changes, you can mess with people. And just the thing to make sure is that, you see right there as I jump over the plane, you don't want to either get shot at by the plane, which you can just build to block, but you also don't want a person in a plane to be able to run you over, which they will attempt to do, as you can see, like with this guy. Eventually people will, usually it's weird because the people in planes are usually, they like to hide up in the planes, but then when you start to put pressure on them, they kind of get mad and try to drop down on you. Right here, just another gunfight where it's just, this guy's taking a load of damage and so many different pump shots where, once again, I take damage in a fight that I didn't need to, and you know, I guess it doesn't matter that much because I'm able to pick up other stuff to carry, although I have to drop that slurp juice, and that's sort of the, you know, the good and the bad with which comes with taking fights. And that's why I think that Fortnite, there's pretty much no motivation to fight a good player in this game as of right now. I think there should be added some stuff where, much like they did in like pop-up cups and different things, you should get, if you don't get materials when you get a kill, you should definitely get like, you know, 50 health bonus or something when you do get a kill. So right here, my plan was to sort of get on this mounted turret, and, you know, I was just trying to have fun at this point. I was like, you know, let's use the mounted turret. I'm sort of hidden in this tree, so nobody, you know, it's kind of hard for people to pick you off of this. But then I realized, okay, I can't see crap because that tree's leaves are in the way. So anyway, I start to play this smart, and I start to realize, hey, this is a 3-man fight happening. And when there's a 3-man fight, you need to evaluate different things. First of all, this guy's triple reinforcing. So I realized this guy is a good player. I want to put pressure on this guy. Just to, you know, the average player does not triple reinforce their ramps. So I can already, I'm judging this guy. I'm sizing him up. I'm saying, you know, I want to put pressure on this guy, and that's why I'm spamming my rockets at him instead of this other player who is somewhere to the side of me, but eventually does get taken out by that other guy with a rifle or someone else. So what I do is I realize, okay, this guy's going to push me now, but I'm not too concerned about this push because I have health. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to challenge him and I'm going to meet him. Right there is, that's where you want to get, you want to win that and get height advantage right at the start. Unfortunately, I don't. This guy was a very good player. As you can see, he makes a smart play and drops down into my base. But once again, what do I talk about? The one thing that can win you games, that guy, you know, he outbuilded me, or, you know, he outbuilt me. I think that's the right word in that one fight. Maybe that guy looked like a good player. He also had a very quick edit. But when it came down to it, I hit that shotgun headshot, and you can see 180 damage. There's not too much you can do against that. You can see here, though, why I'm in a tough spot. It wasn't that I took damage in that fight that was bad. That guy was a good player. I'm going to take damage to him. What I should have done is those 2 fights earlier where I had to use the 50 pot and the slurp. If I could have maintained and not taken any damage in those fights, I could have had a slurp right now or had a 50 pot and been sitting in a much better position. So you can see how, even in a great gameplay like this, there is mistakes, and there's always going to be mistakes, and there's also going to be great stuff. Once again, that trap. If you have a trap on Tilted, that is the #1 spot to place it with some loot under. A lot of bad players will fall for that trap location, and if you're playing around Tilted Towers, you know to always look up when you're entering buildings, or not always, sometimes you'll forget, but the majority of the time to look up when you're entering buildings and to get sort of angles on stuff, and I think that is a major key. Right here, this guy tries to snipe at me out of the air. Normally, I would instantly dive on that guy, play aggressive for kills, right? But this is a high kill game with 14 kill solo win, but I'm also, you realize, I'm not rushing that guy right now. Why am I not rushing him? You might look and think, well, first of all, my mats are kind of low. I have like 500. But the main thing is health. I have 100 health and no extra shields. So rushing that, if he just shoots me 1 time or 2 times as I'm gliding in from the air, I could be done with. He could kill me out of the air. So instead, I try to go for a cheeky play. And this is, I was actually having a lot of fun tonight. Like, you can see the plays that I'm going for are kind of fun. And right here, I try to hop on this guy's car and shotgun him in the back, which is a great way to kill people off of vehicles in this game. However, he has the presence of mind to hop off of it, but I think it was just kind of random. He heard something, but he didn't see something, because obviously the way this guy hops off, you can sort of tell he wasn't the most, you know, the most experienced player. And once again, I get lucky here with the fact that I killed the guy fair and square. I took no damage, but this man had 7 minis, 3 med kits. I kind of pulled the Negan Walking Dead strategy on him and took his, said, yo, you go out and do the looting for me, and then I'll just take what you got. And I mean, it worked out pretty good here, but you can see there's great plays, there's mistakes, there's luck, there's being unlucky. It all comes down to a game, and that's why, like I talked about on my last video, which I thought was really important about making smart decisions, is how you're going to spend your time is a major key. For example, right there, I debatably make a mistake there by shooting too early. I still get 52 damage on him, which is nice. You usually want to hit at least a couple shots here, and this is cheeky. This guy Porta Fortresses, which means that he automatically has the default high ground. So what I do here is I do something that's usually what you want to do when the enemy has high ground, which is go for those headshots and try to hit them. I'm not able to hit them, but I realize, hey, I can reinforce my ramp, and I think that I can reinforce it enough to get across here, and if I do fall, I can hopefully connect something to that Porta Fortress. So that's my thought process as I'm doing it. You always have to be conscious of fall damage, because now that there's no Glider Redeploy, I mean, that's been out for a while, and honestly, you know, at the time I was split. I enjoyed Glider Redeploy because it allowed you to get like high kill gameplays, but the game is just a much more clean the way it is now, and I like it better how it is now. So you can see here, we're in a good spot. I'm prepared for the end game. My loot is fine. I have the best AR, the best shotgun, except not in gold form, a great SMG, minis, and medkits. All that I'm in trouble with here is loot, or not loot, but farm and materials. You can see here I have, what, 500, 600, which may sound like a lot, but I'm telling you, I like to have as many materials as possible going into that late game, because I think that is another key. You can see here, my pre-damage also, I'm not getting the most out of it. I hit 2 body shots on that other guy. Here I hit 1 body shot, but once I go for those other shots, I bring this guy down to white health. Once again, it is a race for high ground, and I don't know why I always, whenever I'm in a fight, that's one thing that I'll grip the controller tight, and then it will accidentally place a wall for me. But you can see here, I put the pressure on this guy, of course. I realize this guy's probably going to go for a trap once he has his, he has no gun out. It's either they're completely lost or they're trying to go for a trap. So you can see different things like that. You can see when your enemy has a shotgun out versus when your enemy has their builds out. And I realized that, so I move to the side a little bit, and of course he ends up placing 2 traps. I've moved to the side. I end up shooting him out. So that could have gone bad, and that's when I realized, hey, this guy looks like he's going for a trap. I tried to step to the side. Luckily, it did work out. Chug Jug here for the extra 50 health. It's worth it. I'm in the, you know, Chug Jugs and solos take 15 seconds to pop anyway, which you can create 15 seconds for yourself, but when you're already in a top scenario, you really don't. People ask me, why did I drop the mounted turrets? I dropped them personally because I don't usually use them too much late game. You know, I'll use them a couple times, like early game, like I did earlier, just for fun though. Like, I think they are kind of cheeky and strong, but you can see here, this guy tries to challenge me, and my aim was not good there, but his aim was even worse. And you can see once again here, I'm in a 1v1 with 13 kills and of course 1 person left. So I swap out the medkits for the grapple gun, because when it comes down to a one-on-one, and I also have campfires, which campfires are such a key thing to have, because when you have those, you don't have to worry about really carrying medkits or bandages. As long as you can create the space for yourself to place that campfire, you will pretty much always be good. But then I decide, hey, let's go with the grenade launcher instead of the grapple gun, just as the final finishing gun. And then my strategy is simple: switch to steel, build a base, and wait for this guy to rush me. And then I see this final guy way over there. He's in the storm, and here is where I realize, okay, this guy doesn't look like the best player. I want to get some damage in on him, and I want to make sure I'm able to get the kill, and it's not a guy dying in the storm. And then I realize after, you know, I get this guy weak, this guy wasn't really shooting back or anything. This guy was, usually it's weird, because usually I always see streamers, and whenever you watch streamers, it's like, how come they always get the crappy guy at the end? You know, usually I'm fighting a pro player at the end. And that's how I feel too. I mean, this is one of the worst players I've run up against. No offense to this guy, of course, he's probably a beginner player towards the end game. My advice for this guy would be, don't hide until second place. You don't get anything out of that. And, you know, it's going to be very rare that this guy wins the final gunfight against a player. If this guy should be practicing his building and playground, his aiming and going tilted and different stuff like that. And yeah, I'm just sort of messing with this guy, just seeing like, you know, what he was trying to do. We were exchanging shotgun fire for 10 damage from the top, and then eventually I think I just hit fire spray him down. But yeah, this is not, obviously this guy, I was just messing with him. I could have just AR this guy from a distance and won the fight, which probably would have been the smart thing to do, because even with bad players, you can get one shot by a shotgun nowadays. So if I pulled up on that guy, go for the pickaxe or a trap, he could one shot me in the head and ruin the gameplay. Anyway, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like on this thing if you guys could. If you guys made it to the end, I would really appreciate that. I hope you guys didn't enjoy this one and taught you guys how to get more kills in Season 7 and how to win all of your fights. You see how I dissected each of these fights and my mindset going through them, why I took certain fights, why I didn't take certain fights, and ultimately how it ended up with a pretty decent kill solo win. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new. Check out some of my other vids, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.